None of us will forget where we were on September 11th, 2001. Some of us were heading to work, hustling and bustling for the day's start. Many of our employees began their morning in Brooklyn, completely unaware of what they were about to witness. As many glanced out the window, they saw the unthinkable, the unimaginable, right there where the Twin Towers used to be. The World Trade Center's Twin Towers had been attacked by terrorists, and the world looked on in horror. Many of our own employees watched it from their offices in Brooklyn. In one unimaginable moment, the world had changed. As word of the disaster traveled, employees began to realize the impact the event would have on their own loved ones, their co-workers, and their beloved city and country. Almost immediately, employees began asking, what can we do to help? Before long, a huge outpouring of relief was underway. The disaster occurred in Con Edison's service territory, and Keyspan immediately offered assistance with critical gas and electric supplies, as well as repair and construction services. When the New York City Command Center asked for help, Keyspan donated respirators, goggles, gloves, and 17,000 t-shirts to assist in the massive operation. Hearing there was a desperate need for blood, Keyspan opened its Hicksville and Canarsie blood drives to the public for emergency donations.
New York City, baby, USA.
As estimates of the damage reached billions, the company immediately set up a fund to match employee contributions to go to the American Red Cross or Salvation Army. The Keyspan Foundation donated $100,000 to the American Red Cross for relief efforts as well. Keyspan worked with the mayor's office to set up space in our facilities to support individuals and businesses displaced by the disaster. The company also released its employees who serve as volunteer firefighters, emergency medical technicians, and other emergency response personnel from their normal work obligations to perform their emergency response jobs. The whole country has responded to this national emergency with one heart and one purpose, all working together to keep the light of freedom shining during this dark time. And now, an important message from our chairman, Bob Cattell.
My fellow Keyspan employees, the tragic events of September 11th affected all of us. Some of you lost family and friends. Some actually saw the attacks from the windows of our Metrotech offices. In the days that followed, some had family members doing important work at Ground Zero, while other employees were there as volunteer firefighters and emergency medical technicians. Some are reservists and members of the National Guard units. Many of you lined up to give blood or to soothe your coworkers with compassion and words of support. To me, all of these actions represent what is best about this company and this country. They are all heroic. Our first reaction to these events was to offer assistance in any way we could, and we did and continue to do so. We had to take quick action to ensure continued service to our customers and the safety and security of our facilities. Fortunately, our gas systems and generating facilities are operating normally. Thank you all for staying focused on your jobs despite the circumstances. Keyspan plays an important role in meeting our nation's need for a dependable energy infrastructure, and each of you supports this critical effort. On September 11th, many things changed forever. But let's remember what did not change: our determination to persevere in difficult times, our freedom of opportunity, and our resolve to live our lives without fear. I am confident we can overcome the effect of these tragic events. Let's continue to take positive steps together and show our strength in the face of this adversity. Doing so will help us heal our individual and collective spirits and help us move forward together as a company and a country. Thank you.
The chairman mentioned how critical a dependable energy system is to our nation now and in the days ahead. To illustrate this, let's revisit a story that occurred this past summer when the management of our electric system infrastructure was really put to the test. The heat wave of 2001 began on Monday, August 6th. For the next 4 days, record heat, haze, and humidity kept air conditioners humming and put the electric system we run for LIPA and all of Keyspan's generation units to their toughest test to date. For 4 consecutive days, Critical energy conservation measures were enlisted to get customers to cut back on energy use. However, even aggressive conservation measures didn't prevent record-breaking energy usage. A Long Island control area peak load record high of 4,906 megawatts was set on August 8th. The next day, with a temperature at 102.4 degrees, the second highest peak load on Long Island was recorded at 4,890 megawatts. This peak load was reached on a day when the New York Independent System Operator ordered a 5% voltage reduction in New York State to help the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland electric systems avoid rolling blackouts. Otherwise, the Long Island load would have reached still higher record levels. In a week where temperatures soared into the triple digits and everyone wondered where the next megawatt would come from, Keyspan's Long Island generating units performed at maximum capability. New York City was also setting record peaks during the heat wave. Keyspan's Ravenswood station was fully available and provided 16% of the city's total energy requirements when New York City hit its peak at 12,207 megawatts on August 9th. Throughout the heat wave, our crews worked non-stop to keep our generators and IC units running and to maintain the reliability of the electric system for LIPA. Amazingly, there were only 30,000 heat-related customer interruptions on Long Island compared to the more than 100,000 outages that occurred during the heat wave in July 1999. Although we survived the heat wave of 2001 with minimal disruptions to Long Island's customers, the high load impact of that week reinforced the need for additional generation. 3 generation projects proposed by Keyspan are currently in various stages of development. On September 5th, New York State's Siting Board on Electric Generation and the Environment unanimously approved the installation of a 250-megawatt gas-powered generator at the Ravenswood Power Station in New York City. This approval means that construction of the new plant could start in early November, with a completion date targeted for the summer of 2003. In May, Keyspan announced a proposal to build a 250-megawatt natural gas-powered combined cycle generation unit at its Spagnoli Road property in Melville. During the summer, U.S. Senator Charles Schumer endorsed the proposed plant and urged state regulators to speed up the siting process.
When a thoughtful, pro-environmental plan to produce more electricity on power-starved Long Island occurs, I think we should all get behind it.
Article 10 of the New York State Public Service Law calls for a review process for any application to construct and operate an electric generation facility with a capacity of 80 megawatts or more. As part of this process, Article 10 guarantees opportunities for public involvement. Public meetings were conducted by Keyspan at the Huntington Hilton in Melville to address the issues and concerns of local residents and businesses. One of the major concerns is the impact that the Spagnoli Road Energy Center will have on the environment.
Technology is far superior. It's combined cycle. They'll use dry cooling in terms of water usage and various other things that they have agreed to do. So this is definitely will be the cleanest plant on Long Island and among the cleanest in the country.
If approved, the Spagnoli Road Energy Center is scheduled to come online by the summer of 2004. A third proposed project is located on the North Shore of Long Island in Nassau County. Keyspan and LIPA held a joint press conference to announce a proposal to install 2 LM6000 generating units at Keyspan's Glenwood gas facility. The electric output of these simple cycle natural gas-fired units will be limited to 79.9 megawatts and will provide enough generation to power about 80,000 homes during peak demand. If approved, these units are expected to be up and running by next summer. Fuel prices will also play a critical role in the nation's recovery, and on that front, there's good news for natural gas customers across the country. Gas prices are down. As of October, natural gas commodity prices have dropped from a winter peak of $10 per decatherm and are currently trading at just below $2, the lowest it's been in over 2 years. Keyspan has been aggressively injecting natural gas supplies into its storage facilities and expects them to be filled by the time the heating season arrives. As a result of the attack on the World Trade Center, Keyspan canceled its Employee Appreciation Day and was able to secure a full refund from the Mets. The company donated the more than $131,000 refund to the New York City Fire and Police Family Relief Fund. Understanding that having fun is part of the healing process, let's take a look at a few of the scenes from New England's Employee Appreciation Day held in August. Forget the Yankees and the Red Sox. there's a new rivalry in town, the Brooklyn Cyclones and the Lowell Spinners. Employees had the opportunity to choose sides at their first annual Employee Appreciation Day held for Keyspan Energy Delivery New England at the Edward LeSure Park in Lowell, Massachusetts. 2,300 employees and their families and friends joined Bob Cattell, Craig Matthews, Wally Parker, and Chet Messer for 2 fun nights of minor league baseball as the Lowell Spinners took on the Brooklyn Cyclones. Environmental Engineering's Mary Casey had the honor of throwing out the first pitch on the first night. A great time was had by all. When the Brooklyn Cyclones aren't on the road, they're playing baseball at their home field, Keyspan Park. The building of Keyspan Park not only brings baseball back to Brooklyn, it also brings a little magic back to Coney Island. For more than 100 years, Coney Island has been synonymous with fun, good times, excitement. On a hot summer day, what could be better than a cold beer and clams on the half shell? For working class Brooklyn, Coney Island has long been an urban Riviera. The world came to Coney Island to enjoy a world of voluptuous excitement and thrilling extravagance. Coney Island and Brooklyn thrived through the post-World War II years, but trouble was on the horizon. In 1957, the borough was crushed when Walter O'Malley, may his name be forever cursed, took the Dodgers to California. Abandonment by the Dodgers was a knife in the heart of Brooklyn. It was like a death in the family, the shattering of a dream. Like many urban areas, Coney Island fell in hard times in the 1960s. The rides and games and bawdy amusements that had brought so much joy disappeared, replaced by empty lots and grim projects. Throughout the worst of times, Coney Island held on. Like the oceans themselves, hope is eternal in Brooklyn. And that hope was rewarded this year on the very spot of the Steeplechase Park. In the shadow of the parachute jump, Coney Island began its rebirth with the construction of Brooklyn's own Field of Dreams. Keyspan Park would be the home of the Brooklyn Cyclones, the first professional baseball team in Brooklyn in more than 40 years. The opening day celebration began with a parade down Surf Avenue. The mayor of New York was there. So was disc jockey Cousin Brucey and our own Bob Cattell. Inside the park, the setting couldn't have been more spectacular. It was the good old days and the promise of the future rolled up into one spectacular night. The game was a squeaker. Down 2-0 in the ninth, the Cyclones tied up the game with a dramatic home run. And then in the 10th inning, lightning struck and the Cyclones had brought winning back to Brooklyn. For one beautiful moment, we were all kids again. Walter O'Malley, eat your heart out. The boys of summer are back, and they're playing in Keyspan Park. Once again, Coney Island stirs the heart and drives the imagination of young Brooklynites everywhere. We are here at Bellevue Hospital, standing in front of the wall of prayer, with the names, faces, and pictures of all of those who lost their lives that day in September. They are not forgotten. We will always remember, especially those Keyspan employees who lost members of their own family. On behalf of Keyspan, we offer our deepest sympathy and prayers. Until next time, I'm Bonnie Habian for In Focus.